And hello, and you're listening to the voice note. My name is James, and today we're going to be talking about Chelsea. So, who else watched the League Cup final? Like me, were you shocked seeing the clear lack of respect to Sarri? I know I was. I know that Sarri said there was confusion as to whether the keeper was injured, and later confirming that he wasn't. But I think it was the way the keeper overruled him, especially considering the pressure Sarri's under. It just looked like a total lack of respect for him. Like he didn't value Sarri's opinion at all. He didn't value his view. I don't want to come off. I know I'm okay. I don't have to actually listen to you myself. And I think I was shocked by that because when you see Sarri in Serie A, he was such a leader. He was so passionate and vocal. His views were being listened to. No one questioned whether, you know, any of their players are playing in the right position. For example, Kante playing as a forward, Hazard not wanting to play as the false nine. Everyone believed in his opinion. So I think now he that's one of the reasons he's struggling. He doesn't have the backing of the players at all. But regarding the decision itself made sense. A keeper who was with City for a number of seasons, who played with a number of these players. So, he would have insight as to, what they would do. Psychologically, Chelsea, were mentally ahead if Kepa comes off. But Kepa would have been rightfully angry. But this is a team game, you could have won a cup. And nowadays I know, people say this is the League Cup, it doesn't mean anything, But surely, if City are taking this seriously, why aren't Chelsea? And that's the question that I've been asking myself. Why wouldn't you come off to win a medal? And the funniest thing is, as I said, you'd been rightfully, been angry to be taken off. But as we said, it's a team game. But what happened to that being a team game? Why is it that, players nowadays, seem to not want to value cups like this? But that's another story. The problem with Chelsea are clear. They lack leadership. There's no Terry, there's no Lampard or Drogba, to kind of forcefully take him off the pitch. Players who back the manager and our managers on the pitch. If you see what I'm saying, we used to, when we watched football, used to think that Terry, Lampard, Cech, Drogba were Jose Mourinho's voice, his troops. Everything that he wanted to happen happened on the pitch because everyone believed and the players were playing for him. But this is the problem with Chelsea. They don't have no leaders. So, he doesn't have these voices on the pitch. And one of the biggest things for me is that Terry should never have been allowed to leave. And, he should have been offered a first team coaching role to keep that voice in the club. Cahill has that leadership, but, he's been isolated with Chelsea. And if the players don't believe in you, you can, you go and I can see that happening to Sarri. But the funny thing is, I actually rate him highly. And if he does go, I think the best move for Chelsea is to actually appoint Lampard, to be honest. And people might say that's quite strange. Yeah, he might not be ready, but I actually think he's actually ready. I think he has that leadership and that respect at Chelsea where instantaneously the players would believe in him, they would back him, he would get that support, kind of like the Ole Gunnar Solskjaer effect where Jose Mourinho was going through pressure, the media were consistently on him, and then a fresh-faced Ole comes in and changes their fortune. And I can actually see that happening at Chelsea. I can actually see him coming in and resolving all of these issues that they have at Chelsea. Playing Kante back at the DM, I think dropping Jorginho as well. Hazard playing in his actual position, not moving around, because that's another thing with Hazard. You have to keep him on the side, especially with that transfer ban as well. So with the transfer ban, you're gonna have to make use of the squad that you have and make sure that your key players are happy. And although I love Sarri and Serie A, when I see him in the Premier League, his football confuses me. I don't understand Jorginho's role or what he's meant to do. I like Kante as the DM, and that's all I see him as, although he's very talented going forward. I look at the bench and see other players and I feel like they're better suited in that position. So I think the players must be questioning his tactics, his game plan. He seems like a disciplinarian as well, and I've always thought that with Conte and Sarri, it's too much of a disciplinarian. It's like Mourinho, where that voice just gets boring and jarring, and you need someone to come in with positivity. And you look at United now, and that decision to bring back positivity has worked. And it's clear that Chelsea need a new voice, but it's also clear that Chelsea need leaders. Now, Hazard is that leader, but he needs to be happy. He needs to be kept sweet. If not, he just goes to Real Madrid, and there's no other way of looking at it. But back to the cup final, as we were saying, psychologically, if Caballero is brought on, they're basically 1-0 ahead. He knows what they're going to do, in the sense of he's trained with these people regularly. And Kepa could have won this, in the sense Kepa could have been looked good. Kepa could have been taken off. Caballero does crap in goal. And people are like, wait, why did Sarri take him off? And Sarri got sacked. But now it's, why did Kepa react like that? And I think now it's brought more questions around the players. Like, why are these players trying to get rid of this manager who did a great job at Napoli? And he comes to Chelsea and the players are already wanting to go. It's just, it's a funny situation, but I don't think Sarri's done... I don't think Sarri has really done anything to kind of stop this himself. Like, if he'd have moved Kante back to the DM and Hazard into his main position, would that have stopped it? And I think it would have. I think it would have given a clear playing style, which they played last season. And, they would have just been they would have been competitive, and I think they would have been playing better football. But with the distraction of Kante not playing in his main position, Morata didn't really do great as well. Chelsea striking problems been an issue since Fernando Torres. And then you've got Higuain coming in, who I don't know if he's past it, but could you have got a better striker? I think, yeah, Cardi was the person that I would have personally gone for myself, who gives them a better playing style and better link up with Hazard, whereas Higuain's got 2 years in him. And again, it's just with the the young player at Chelsea, whose name forgets me as well, who was linked to Bayern. He didn't do anything to kind of bring him back on side. It's like he lacks the player management, and I don't think Zola was the great choice as number 2 either. For me, it was a clear choice of who it should be. It should have been either Lampard or Terry if available. And even that's what just it just shocks me that Chelsea just make the decision to give jobs to these types of managers who we know are disciplinarians, and it makes me confused as to what direction Chelsea are trying to go to. And I think Sarri should be sacked because his performance for the money spent is terrible, and Chelsea decides that the club should be competing to where Tottenham are. I think they should be around third, with the amount of money they spent. I thought that Tottenham would finish much lower, would be much lower than what they are, much lower to where they actually are at the moment. And I thought Chelsea would be in that spot because for me, they have a complete team. Just the way they're playing and the formation, it just doesn't look right. But even the decision to play David Luiz, I just don't understand how any manager can play David Luiz. I know they don't have any alternatives, but when we're talking about leaders on the pitch, is David Luiz a leader? I'm unsure. Is he any better than Gary Cahill? Well, I looked at stats on Squawker earlier, and he's not that much better than Gary Cahill. And the thing is, with Gary Cahill, he's not John Terry, but he gives you that traditional leadership on the pitch, and you can trust him. The only downside is he's not a ball-playing centre-back. But would you prefer to sacrifice leadership on the pitch? It's a funny situation at Chelsea, but I think that Sarri's going to go. I think that's it for him. especially if Tottenham beat them. If Tottenham beat them and it's in and it's like a 3-1 result, I see him going the same day. And to be honest, when I look at the teams as well, I actually do think that Chelsea will get beaten, and I think partially that the players kind of want him to go, so they may not give 100%. And we've seen this before. We've seen this before. This isn't new. So yeah, it's going to be interesting. I'm going to make sure that I blog about this as soon as after the game's finishing. As I said, I want Lampard to come in as the manager. I think that's what Chelsea need, that direct leadership. He's managed at the Championship, which is not the highest level, but neither was the Norwegian league for Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. It's just the connection that he has to the club and what he can actually offer. And what we forget about is if you bring Lampard in, he can come in with an experienced number two. And that's what I think Chelsea need. I don't know who that experienced number two would be. But I think this is exactly what Chelsea need. They need that boost. They need that connection from legendary player, real respected in the club. Everyone knows what he is. The media will be on side with him as well because Lampard is well respected as well. The players would not kick up a fuss with him because they know the legendary status. He'll get all the support from the fans. So for me, it's a win-win with Chelsea, especially if you put him on like a 1-year deal, interim management to the end of the season. What are you really losing? You know, what cups are you in at the moment? And is there objective to challenge as well? So yeah, as I said, thank you for listening. That's my Chelsea blog. And yeah, give me some comments below on who you think should be the boss. Am I going loco that, Lampard should be the boss? But anyway, thanks for listening.